Smita. Today we will learn the crop production and management, the first chapter from the 8th standard. Food. We all require food. Yes or no? And we cannot imagine our life without the food. Food is very much essential for the survival of the life. And we also know the plants can prepare their own food, but the animals cannot prepare their own food. The plants are going to prepare their food by the process called as a photosynthesis, which we have already studied in our previous year. So, now why do we need food? What is the use of the food? What is the necessity of the food? The food is required for the growth and development. It is also required to maintain certain life process like respiration, nutrition, excretion. To perform all this kind of life process, the body requires an energy, and energy is obtained by the food what we are going to eat. Okay? So, if you see around yourself, there are so many people around you. If you take just India, in India we have about 1.3 billion people, and if you take the whole world, there is about 7.3 billion people in the world, and all these people need food. Okay, how are we able to provide the food to all the people present on the earth? How can we do that? Okay, so in order to make the food available to each and every individual, we must produce a food on large scale. Okay, the food must be done, production of the food must be in the large scale, and not only the production, the food must be produced regularly, and also it must be maintained properly, and the distribution of food is also very much essential. So, in order to provide food to each and every individual, what we must do? The food must be produced regularly. Okay, first of all, it must be produced regularly. Secondly, the maintenance is very much essential. The food must be maintained properly, and the third one is the distribution of the food. Okay, the food must be distributed to each and every individual in a proper quantity. So now we will study a little bit history of our agriculture. Okay, till 10,000 BC, the people were nomadic. That means the people were wandering from one place to other place in search of the food and also for the shelter. Okay, they used to hunt the animals for their food, or they used to eat the raw food and vegetables which is obtained from the plants. Okay, and as and when the days passed, people tried to observe the nature. Okay, as they tried to observe the nature, they tried to know when the plants are good, when the plants just grow, what are the environmental conditions required for the plants to grow, and in what condition, what soil condition does the plant grow. As and when they started to study about this, they started to cultivate the crops in their own place. Okay, and from then the agriculture was born. They started to grow the plants of wheat, paddy and other things. Okay, so from then till today we are practicing the agriculture. Now, what is crop? Okay, crop. Crop is the same kind of a plant which are grown in large number in a large field. We call it as a crop. What is that? It is a same kind of a plant which are grown in large numbers in the same field, or in the large field we call it as a crop. Suppose if we take an example of a paddy crop, it means a large number of paddy plants are grown in a large field. Okay, and we also know there are different types of crops, like we have from cereals, fruits and vegetables, and these crops are classified based on the season in which they grow. We also know that India is a vast country, and in India there is a different climatic conditions in different parts of the country, Okay, and as we move the different parts, the different cropping patterns, the different crops are grown, and mainly there are two cropping patterns in case of India. Okay, one is a kharif crop, and other one we have is a rabi crop. Okay, one we have is a kharif crops. What is this kharif crops? The crops which are grown during the rainy season, we call it as a kharif crops. And in India, the rainy season is from the June to September. Some of the examples of the kharif crops will be the cotton, the groundnut, the paddy, the maize. So some of the examples of the kharif crops. So what is kharif crops? The crops which are is this rabi crops? The crops which are grown during the winter season, we call it as rabi crops. And the winter season in India is usually from the October to March. Okay, and some of the example will be the pea plants. We can take the example of a wheat. We can take some of the examples like mustard plants. They are some of the examples for the rabi crops. So what is kharif crop? Kharif means which are grown during the rainy season, and rabi crops means which are grown during the winter season. So, and if you may have a doubt like why paddy plants cannot be grown during the winter season. The paddy plants require a large amount of water, and so we are dependent on the rain for the water. Okay, this is the reason why paddy plant cannot be grown during the winter season. So this is about the two types of cropping patterns. Now next we will move on the agricultural practices. Okay, the agricultural practices. What is this agricultural practices? See, production of a crop is not an easy process. Okay, it requires a lot of activities done by the farmer over a period of time. Okay, this agricultural activities or the task is, you can find it very much similar when you grow a crop or ornamental crop in your house. Okay, the step is very much similar to what we do at our house. Okay, and this agricultural, these practices or these activities or this task what is performed by a farmer while production of a crop, we call it as agricultural practices. There are some of the agricultural practices like first of soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, then we have a weeding, then harvesting, and last finally we have a storage. These are some of the agricultural practices or the activities which is performed by a farmer in the production of a crops. So today we will discuss the first agricultural practices, that is the preparation of soil. Okay. First one, preparation of soil. What is this preparation of soil? The preparation of soil means just loosening of the soil and turning of the soil, we call it as a preparation of the soil. Okay, the loosening and turning of the soil, we also call it as a tilling or a ploughing process. It is also called as what? As a tilling process, or it is also called as a ploughing process. So what is tilling and ploughing? It means the loosening and turning of the soil is called as tilling and ploughing. This is done with the help of a plough. Now, why we need to till a plough or why we need to till a land? Okay. So, and it is a very important process. Why we need to do the tilling process is, we know that the soil contains the air, contains the water, it contains some of the minerals, and when the animals and the plants die, they get decomposed in the soil, and the nutrients which are present in the soil gets back to the nutrients which is present in the animals get back to the soil, and the nutrients are absorbed by the plants for their growth. Okay, and we also know that only the topmost layer of the soil helps in the growth of a plant. Okay, and by tilling process, the nutrient rich soil which is present below is brought down the top of a plant. Okay, first of all, the nutrient rich soil, what is that? The nutrient rich soil is brought on the top. First important reason why we do the tilling or ploughing is the nutrient rich soil which is present below the soil is brought on the top, so that the plants can easily absorb the nutrients from the soil. And the second purpose why we do is, it helps the roots of the plant to breathe easily. Okay, it helps in breathing of roots. Okay, roots of the plants can breathe easily. And third is, it helps the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. Okay, it helps the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. And the fourth important reason would be the growth of microorganisms and earthworm. watering of the soil is essential before a plowing. Okay. First of all, I will show you. Watering is, if the soil is very dry, then watering of the soil is very much essential. Secondly, if the plowed land contains a big pieces of soil which we call as a crumbs, okay, it is called as crumbs. If the plowed land contains a big pieces of soil which we call as a crumbs, and these crumbs must be broken down into a small pieces. Okay. After this, the land must be leveled for sowing and for the irrigation purpose. Okay. The leveling of a land can be done with the help of a leveler. Okay. After this, the soil is ready for the sowing. This is about the tilling and plowing process. So we will discuss once again what is this tilling and plowing process. Tilling means the loosening and turning of the soil. We call it as tilling. It is also called as a plowing. It is done by a agricultural implements such as plough, hoe and cultivator. Why we do this tilling process is so that the nutrient-rich soil which is at below can be brought at the top, and it helps in the breathing of the roots. It helps in the penetration of the roots easily, and also helps in the growth of microorganisms and the earthworms. So, and if the soil is very dry, then the watering of the land is essential before a plowing. And the next one is the plowed land contains a large pieces of soil which we call as a crumbs. This crumbs must be broken down into pieces. Okay. So, the next we will study about the agricultural implement. Now we will discuss the first agricultural implement, that is the plough. Okay, plough is a large agricultural implement which is used for ploughing or tilling the soil in the fields. The traditionally used wooden plough you can see in the image here. Okay, the wooden plough consists of a long rod of wood which we call it as a plough shaft. This is a plough shaft. So there is a handle at one end of the plough shaft. This will be a handle. So this is a handle which is attached to the other end of the plough shaft, and below the handle you can see a triangular iron strip which we call it as a plowshare. Okay, this is a plowshare which is made up of an iron, okay, and triangular in shape. The other end of the plough shaft can be attached to the wooden beam which is fixed at a right angles, and this beam is placed over the neck of the bullocks, okay, so as to pull the plough. You can see the beam over here. This is a beam which is placed on the neck of an bullocks. When a plough is drawn by a pair of bullocks, what happens is the farmer holds the handle of the plough and press down the handle, due to which the plowshare is going to digs into the soil and loosens it and turns it. Nowadays, the traditionally wooden plough is increasingly being replaced by an iron plough. The next agricultural implement we have is a hoe. It is used for removing the weeds and loosening and turning the soil. It also consists of a long rod of wood or iron. There is a handle at one end of the hoe. You can see the image. There is a handle. The strong, broad, bent plate of iron is fixed below the handle, and this acts like a blade. You can also see a bent plate which acts like a blade. The other end of the hoe has a beam which is put on the neck of the bullocks. Okay, and thus hoe is pulled by the animals such as a pair of bullocks. The hoe is kind of a modified plough. The third agricultural implement which we will study is a cultivator. This is a cultivator. The cultivator is a tractor-driven agricultural implement which is used for loosening and turning of the soil in the fields quickly. A cultivator has many plowshares which can dig into a considerable area at the same time, loosen it and turn it. Due to this, many fields can be plowed in a short time using a cultivator. Okay, the cultivator is going to save your labor and also the time. Nowadays, the plowing of a large field is done by using a tractor-driven cultivators. This was all about the today's sessions. Hope you have understood what I have taught. Thank you.